Hi, in this video, I'm going to share with you how to rewire for wealth. You're going to learn a powerful 3-step formula that you can apply to help reduce your resistance, expedite your learning process, and really build your confidence in your personal finances. And this really is an integrative approach that weaves together several modalities, including psychology, neuroscience, spirituality, and personal finance to really support you to train your mind to rewire for wealth. And in this video, I really want to share with you the key points that I learned from reading this book, Rewire for Wealth by Barbara Huson. And in this video, it really is just kind of reviewing the summary and the things that I really liked and picked up from this book. It really has become my transformational guide for building wealth. And when I say building wealth, it really includes saving, investing, and really growing your money. My name is Yvonne, and the goal in this channel is personal growth. So if you want to improve the quality of your life, click the subscribe button to level up. So rewiring for wealth is anything but pleasurable in the beginning. It's tough and challenging, and that's why not many people achieve it, because it often requires delayed gratification. You see, there's no immediate reward for getting out of debt, spending less, saving more, and gaining new skills maybe in the present for increasing your future income, or reducing your expenses so we can invest. Or maybe even taking time that we need to research and do our due diligence to invest wisely. See, all of this work, effort, and time that you put in to do all of these things and build wealth it is happening in the background of life. And you don't reap all of the rewards quickly and overnight. No, it takes time. So it's not a get rich quick, and it's not by any stretch something easy to do. It takes time, it takes effort, but we know that with repetition, wealth building activities do eventually become gratifying in and of themselves. You see, our job right now is to positively reinforce our wealth building behaviors. And the rewire response that Barbara Huson talks about in her book has 3 steps: recognize, reframe, and respond differently. And we recognize when we observe any negative or unhealthy thoughts or feelings with curiosity and not criticism. You see, a lot of times we move about in life unconsciously, doing things because we've always done them, and that's just our go-to and our comfort zone. And so we don't notice these bad habits and bad behaviors because they've just been a part of our identity. But what we are encouraged and challenged to do here is to become aware of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. See, all of our behaviors begin with a thought. In fact, our feelings, whether good feelings, bad feelings, even depression and anxiety and stress, all of these feelings and emotions begin with a thought. You see, if our thoughts are not supporting us, it's really going to affect our feelings and emotions, and it's going to affect our behaviors. So we want to be very self-aware, and self-awareness is the key, and that's the beginning. And so that's why I feel recognized in this 3-stage process for rewiring our brains for wealth is so very important, because we've got these grooves, these neural pathways in our brains that have created very strong grooves in our brain. And that's just how we act and react in certain situations. What we're being challenged to do here when we rewire for wealth is to shift gears from these very ingrained and intrinsic grooves of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and shift them to something completely different. And this is where it gets really difficult and just challenging and hard. And that's why most people give up. It's too difficult. And so they go back into the comfort zone, into those deeply ingrained grooves, even though there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light really is their financial freedom. But they're not comfortable here, so they give up. What I'm telling you to do, and I'm challenging you to do, and Barbara does through her book, Rewire for Wealth, is to just become aware with no judgment. You see, when we begin judging, that's when we get down and out and we get discouraged with ourselves. And we don't pick up where we left off and try again. You see, for instance, just last week I went to Sedona, Arizona, and I had such a great time. Well, I did overdo it a little bit on my budget for certain things and in my dining experiences, but you know what? That's okay. I tell my students and my clients that I have a bookkeeper that works with me every 2 weeks, and I go through my budget and I go through my past expenses the last 2 weeks, and I go through what my budget is for the next 2 weeks. I like to do it in 2-week increments because you know what? I want to be intimate with my numbers. I want to be intimate with my money so that I'm able to get ahead of any maybe bad behaviors that creep up, or take advantage of anything that I have extra to be able to invest and put a little bit more in savings and such. And I like to map things out. So I am intimate with my money. I do review it every 2 weeks instead of once a month. That helps me get on top of things. But I wanted to share with you that even so, I was on vacation. I did have a budget. And I did go over it at times. We were just having such a great time at this event. But you know what? I didn't get down and out on myself. I told her, I said, you know what? That's okay. I was on vacation. Now I know the level of vacation that I want to have next time. So next time I'm going to make sure that I save up for the VIP experience that I'm looking for in my vacations. And so that's how I took care of that. And so next time I'm going to maybe increase my budget so that I'm more comfortable. But what's the point? The point is, just because I overdid it in my budget doesn't mean I'm going to get down and out on myself and I'm just going to give up and stop budgeting and say, oh, this doesn't work. No, I'm going to get back on the bandwagon. I'm going to call it a day, right? That was my vacation. I had a fabulous time, right? And I'm not going to judge myself for that. I'm just going to know how to change my behaviors next time. Okay? So that's just an example of how we want to recognize and be self-aware. Okay? So the second step is we want to reframe. When we find ways to perceive the situation differently. So we want to find ways to perceive the situation differently so that you can transform your thinking. So this is important because when we reframe, how we perceive a situation, that's going to help us transform our thinking. Going back to that same example, just to keep things simple, I could have, like I told you, gotten upset at myself, frustrated that I wasn't 100% perfect. You know what I told myself? I said, you know what? That's okay. No one's perfect. And we're going to do better next time. We're going to increase the vacation budget because I just found out that I really like a luxury experience, and that's okay. So you see how I reframed and I didn't get beat myself up over it. Okay, I took that as a lesson that I can learn to do better next time. And see, that's how I want you to see how you approach getting out of debt, saving, increasing your income, and investing to build wealth. I want you to begin reframing how you perceive the situation and be aware of the words you use in your thinking. Like I said before, thoughts are what trigger our feelings and emotions and our behaviors. If I had been negative, if I had allowed these negative, frustrating thoughts to ruminate, that would have caused a feeling of stress. And this feeling of stress and frustration would have created the behavior of, just giving up, right? And not going ahead and moving forward with now planning a new budget, you see? So I want you to, like I said, step 2 is to reframe, okay? Find ways to perceive the situation differently so that you can transform your thinking, because everything begins with the thought. So if you're feeling down and out, say, okay, what thoughts am I thinking that are causing this, okay? So we respond differently when we consciously and consistently repeat new behaviors over and over again. And that's the third step, is responding differently. That is what solidifies and locks in this new neural network. So the main objective that we want is to have our current brain circuits that have been programmed and conditioned to support and enable bad financial behaviors to become weakened, and the new circuits that support building wealth to grow stronger, okay? And one example is like if you start weightlifting or strength training, or maybe a new Pilates routine, right? At first, your muscles are going to be weak, but when you repeat this exercise over and over again, your muscles grow stronger. And many times, let's be honest, we don't feel like working out or going to the gym, but you've got to do what you don't always feel like doing over and over again. And here's the trick. The more you repeat this new behavior, similar to the more you repeat an exercise to build your muscles, the stronger the new neural pathway or that muscle grows, okay? And then that's going to be your go-to, okay? But it takes time and it takes repetition. And most people give up, but you're not like that. You're not like most people, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this video. So, it's tough in the beginning. I'm not going to pretend that it's not, and I'm not going to tell you something otherwise. It is tough, but the more consistently you show up for yourself, the stronger the bonds between the new neurons are going to grow, and the less effort is needed as the old connections get weaker and they atrophy. You see, a weak muscle, if you don't use it, they atrophy, okay? And these old behaviors, when they die out, they give way to this new behavior that ultimately becomes your new identity, and a new habit is formed. And that's what we want to do. When we think about our financial journey, I want you to think of it that way. I want you to think of it as a journey, and you are going to grow throughout this process. And I want you to enjoy the journey. Enjoy how strong you're getting, and celebrate these wins every single time you are aware, okay? Every time you are aware of these behaviors, celebrate. Wow, the simple fact that I can go back and be aware of this and catch my thoughts, catch my feelings and emotions when they don't support me, or catch my behaviors when they don't support me, that's something to celebrate, okay? Also celebrate when you're reframing, when you take the situation and you're compassionate with yourself, when you show yourself some self-compassion and you've reframed the situation so that it's supporting you, it's supporting this new neural paths, right? By bringing in these new thought patterns, the supportive thought patterns, that's something to celebrate, okay? And that third step, right, is this repetition. Celebrate that. Celebrate every single day you show up for yourself. When you're going online and you really want to buy that thing that just popped online, but you haven't really allowed yourself to see how it fits in your budget, or see if it really makes sense to you. Is it going to just be something more that you collect? Do you really need this? Or are you mindful? Are you mindful with your purchases? And when I say that, I mean also luxury things. You can buy, 10 belts, 10 pretty belts on Amazon, Or you can buy one really nice, classy signature belt that's going to go with a lot of things. And that's what happened to me right before I went for my trip. I was looking at shopping on Amazon for some belts, and then I said, you know what, I just want this really one nice luxury belt and give that little gift for myself. And I went to a store, I think it was a Louis Vuitton, and I bought myself a really pretty belt, one belt, instead of buying all of these different belts. And so in my closet, I only have 3 belts, okay? But those 3 belts are very mindful, okay? Instead of having like tons of stuff. So that's the type of thing that I want you to start thinking about, okay? Being mindful and trying to repeat the behaviors that support you. And really think about the kind of person you want to become, the identity you want to take on. And if these thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are supporting that. And then shift every single time, catch yourself. So the biggest challenge here is responding differently, truly, and forming a new habit. You know, repetition is key to permanently wiring those new beliefs. So there are actually 3 strategies that you can use to support you, because this 3rd step, honestly, is the hardest one. So I really want to focus this conversation on them. So the first is, I want you to watch your words. You know, language has a profound impact on your brain. Your words become self-fulfilling prophecies. So if you want to control your thoughts and feelings, which is directly responsible for sculpting your brain, you want to be vigilant about the words you use. In fact, I'm certified in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and I'll tell you, I can actually do a whole video just on that to share with you how important it is to be self-aware on these thought patterns that keep coming up in our mind. So what I'd like you to do, here's an exercise for this particular first step on watching your words. The exercise is, for the next 2 weeks, I want you to observe the conversations you have with yourself and with others. Okay? Don't change a thing. Don't judge these conversations. Just be aware of them. Be aware of how often you put yourself or others down. Okay? Also, be aware when you deflect praise or dismiss your success. So for instance, if somebody says, oh, I really like your dress, you can say, oh, this is an old dress. I've had this for a while. Or if someone, says, oh, you did a great job at work today, like, oh, it wasn't just me, it was everybody else, it was a team effort. See, these things, believe it or not, can affect you. What we sometimes see as humility can be eroding your self-confidence and your self-esteem. You can tell your friends, for instance, to help you by maybe calling you out when they hear you putting yourself down. And I promise you, you're going to feel a big difference when you change the language you use on yourself and others. So I want you to remember that old neural pathway that we talked about that has deep grooves. So instead of talking, negatively or deflecting, what I want you to do is start paying attention to your speech, both inside your mind and when you speak out, and talk about what you're committed to, not what you're worried about. Make that the focus of your conversation. Speak out, right? What you want to see with faith. It takes faith, and make your faith greater than your fear. Okay? Switch the way you speak to and talk about, okay? And what I want you to do is talk about what you want for your future versus what you don't like about your present situation. I'm going to repeat that. I want you to talk about what you want for your future versus what you don't like about your present situation. And when you pay attention the next 2 weeks about not just the words you use in conversation and in your mind, but pay attention to conversations in general with the friends you've attracted or the type of conversations you've allowed with your family. And you're going to notice that they're going to reflect back to you, because remember, your environment is just your mirror. It's only going to reflect back to you what you are and who you are. So if you notice that your friends and family like to, their topic of conversation is talking negatively about other people, and that's just what you talk about, become self-aware of that. Again, don't judge, but just become aware of that. And now the second step is, the challenge here is, talk about what you want for your future versus what you don't like about your present situation. Talk about positive, motivational things, encouraging things. And that's scriptural. The Holy Scriptures talks about that too, right? We want to make sure that what we speak is going to upbuild others, because the tongue can actually spark a fire, okay, and really hurt others and hurt ourselves, and we don't even notice how much it's actually hurting us. So if you keep talking about your past, here's what's going to happen. You're going to continue to repeat it, okay? There's a phrase that says, when you complain, you remain, and that's very true. So instead, talk about your dreams and aspiration. One tool that I've personally used is affirmations, repeating affirmations. And affirmations really are short statements that declare what you want as if it's already yours in the present tense. And the power is in the repetition of the affirmation. And some people say, oh, sometimes I try affirmations, it doesn't work for me, I don't even believe it. Well, you know what? Repeat it even if you don't believe it. Because the truth is, that's what you want for your future. And if that's what you want for your future, step into that future and claim it, okay? So repeat them, okay? And what happens is, it's like waving a magic wand. I can't tell you how many times I've had affirmations that I've chosen, and I do affirmations every morning. In fact, affirmations is a part of my daily morning routine. I'm going to encourage you to include it in yours and see what happens if you give enough time. Remember, you've got deep grooves here, and you've got to switch it over to some new neural connections, and it's going to take time. Be patient with yourself. Give it the right amount of time. Okay? And the right amount of time is continue to repeat that affirmation until it becomes a reality. The second step is visualize. Yes, visualizing. Studies now show that visualization or mental rehearsal changes the physical structure of your brain. Isn't that fascinating? So, for example, let's say you want to ask for a raise to increase your income. Well, first, what you're going to want to do is do your due diligence. Research what's the going rate for the position that you have, assuming that it's an increase in the position you have that you're looking for, not a new position. Document the contributions you've done in your company and your team, and then write a script to outline what you want to say and practice it with a friend. Then, before you go in there and actually, jump and ask for the raise, what I want you to do is step back here. And as part of your daily routine, I want you to visualize. Do a visualizing exercise. And what does that look like? Well, you're going to want to close your eyes and picture yourself walking into your manager's office, or if you work online, reaching out to them for a meeting, a Zoom meeting maybe, dressed up nicely and feeling confident and excited to ask for that raise, because here's the thing, you're worthy of it. And make sure you put on a positive emotion during your visualization, okay? And here's the thing, again, remember, repetition is key on all of these tools. I want you to remember that you've got some deep grooves here, and these deep grooves might include a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-worth, not feeling good enough. All of these are deep grooves. We're going to try to shift these grooves over to your new neural pathway. It's going to take time, and it's going to mean this visualization, okay, is going to be over the course of a few days. Make sure you put a positive emotion in your visualization. That's like the salt and pepper, and make it daily, okay? Very important. So here's an exercise for visualization. What I want you to do is be clear with what you want, and spend 5 minutes each day for the next 2 weeks visualizing exactly what you want. And you can even put music with it and set your alarm to go off after 5 minutes time. And I do this. I'm not going to tell you something to do something that I don't do for myself. I I visualize also for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes as part of my morning routine. And that's what I do. I set my alarm in my cell phone for 5 minutes. I put on my favorite visualization music. There's tons of them on YouTube. And I close my eyes and I imagine what I want with all these great details. And I get so into it. I promise you, 5 minutes is gonna go by so quickly, you're gonna feel like you just closed your eyes, because you're gonna really wanna get into it and really experience it. And it feels so good. I've done that for so many things. Like I was able to manifest my dream home through visualization, my dream relationship with my adorable, loving husband. That way, when I was single, I would visualize, my perfect relationship, and here he is. I visualized having children, and I got 2. I didn't picture 2. God had other plans for me. Actually, my mother, believe it or not, when I told her, I said, "Mom, I need you to sit down," when I was coming out from the doctor's office to give her the news, of my pregnancy. I asked her, "Are you sitting down?" And she said, "Yes, I'm sitting down." And then I said, "Mom," I said, "we're having twins. There's 2. And after she just really screamed, it's like, "Oh my God." And she said, "I prayed for this. I prayed for you to have twins. God listened to my prayers." And she's going bananas saying, "Oh yes, God heard my prayer." I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Can you tell me next time you make this kind of request in prayer, let me know, get me in on this, so I'm kind of, give me a heads up. So it's powerful, isn't it? It just goes to show the power of prayer. She was praying for her daughter to have twins, and there it goes. I'm off topic, but what's my point? My point is there's something we need to understand about our experience, is that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and our divinity and what we're capable of, we're just beginning to scratch the surface. So I need you to really put your doubt aside, okay? Put your doubt aside and put your faith in here. Make your faith greater than your fears, and you're going to be astounded when you tap into your divinity. And divinity, the definition is being able to put aside your human limits and really believe that there's something greater within yourself, because there truly is. So I want you to just try this exercise, and maybe it takes a few times. Do it. If you're skeptical, do it skeptical. Okay, do it skeptical, and just have enough faith. Even if you have the faith of a mustard seed. Okay, the Holy Scripture says if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can really move mountains. So I need you to have the faith, even just a little bit, the faith of a mustard seed. Could you do that? Can you muster that much faith in yourself and just try this? Okay, I believe in you, and I want you, and you're deserving of your financial dreams and goals, and not just of finance, in all of your life. Wealth, it's not just finance, it's in all of your life. Okay, that leads me to the third point here that's really going to help you move these grooves and set up some new neural pathways for yourself to rewire your brain for success. That's meditation. I want to start this portion off with a beautiful quote that Barbara Huson also used in her book, and I just loved it so much. It really touched my heart. By Deepak Chopra. He says, "Meditation is not a way of making your mind quiet. It's a way of entering into the quiet that's already there, buried under those 50 to 60,000 thoughts an average person thinks every day." And that's powerful because it helps us understand that we are not our thoughts. Again, you are not your thoughts. You're bigger than that. Okay? Your soul, your spirit is in there. Okay? And it's covered with all of the programming and conditioning that's telling you what you're not. You are more than all of this programming and conditioning that's covering over, like plaque, over your ability to shine. Okay? So these 50 to 60,000 thoughts that science has just revealed that the average person has in a day, that's not you. You are not your thoughts. You see, these 50,000 thoughts, a lot of them are just conditioning and programming from the environment. The thought of I'm not enough. The thought of I'll never be able to achieve this. The thought of there's never enough money. The thought of money doesn't grow on trees. The thought of it's for everybody else, but we're not like that. And so much more thoughts that just pass through like visitors. Again, these are visitors. Your thoughts are visitors. Your thoughts are like clouds. It's a perfect analogy. Think of the sky. The nice, clear blue sky is in the background, right? It's silent, a silent witness. But then you've got all these things going on in the sky, right? You've got airplanes buzzing. You've got clouds flying through. But the sky is just that witness, that presence. That is what you are at your core. You are the witness, you are the presence, you are the consciousness. And so when we meditate, okay, it's not like we're quieting our mind. No, our mind or our soul, our spirit is already quiet. It's already the witness. It's the ability to move all of that other gunk aside so that we can be truly, fully, okay, our best and our true self, so our true self can shine. So, there's extensive research that shows that aside from toxins and injuries, nothing damages your brain more than fear and stress. You see, when you're under fear and stress, your brain defaults to the stronger pathways and actually kills off the weaker ones, which prevents you from responding differently. So one example is that you see this, and I'm sure it has happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to you, is that when you're in a diet, you're doing great, everything's great, and you're able to stick to it, but then something happens, right? You get bad news, or something bad happens at work, or a friend tells you some bad news, or a family member, and then what happens after that? Well, it causes an increased amount of cortisol, that stress hormone, and by the time you know it, there you are, breaking your diet with comfort food, okay? Well, I think we've all been there, so that's why I wanted to share this example so that you can kind of relate. Well, the same thing too happens when stress is introduced, and you're still in the process of moving from one set of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to another set of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. When you're in your financial journey and stress kicks in, what's going to happen? Well, your brain, again, is going to default to the stronger pathway. It's going to default to your old behaviors. It's going to kill off the weaker ones. So if this new behavior, new way of thinking, and new feelings and emotions you want for yourself is not fully there, it's still just trying to you're still working on it, you have stress in the picture, guess what? You're going to revert back to your old ways, and chances are you're going to find yourself in the mall shopping, right? Or online throwing a few things in your cart, okay? Because that's your go-to with your comfort zone, okay? So I'm hoping that this makes sense. In a 2015 Harvard study, neuroscientists found that meditating, even for 5 to 10 minutes a day, changes the neurocortex. And the neurocortex is the part of your brain that's known as the executive center of your brain. It's the front part of your brain. It changes the neurocortex by improving memory, resilience to stress, helps in decision making, and well-being. So, I want to stay true with having at least a little exercise for each of these. So one exercise that you can do to practice meditation is this. I want you to set aside a timer, okay? Put a timer on your cell phone or wherever for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and sit in a comfortable position while you're concentrating on your inhale or in-breath and your out-breath, your exhale. So you're going to concentrate on your inhale and concentrate on your exhale. And I want you to repeat an affirmation that makes sense to you. This affirmation that I'm going to encourage you to use is, I breathe in love, I breathe out love. I breathe in love. I breathe out love. And because it's difficult to speak and breathe at the same time, doing deep breaths, I want you to think these thoughts. I breathe in love. I breathe out love in your mind. Think of these words. Now you can repeat this affirmation with each inhale and each exhale in your mind. And notice when your mind wanders, and I didn't say if, I said when your mind wanders, notice it lovingly and bring it back to your breath. I breathe in love. I breathe out love. Okay? And I want you to notice these thoughts as if they're clouds, right? Floating across the sky. Okay? And that's really going to help you in so many ways to stay focused. All right? And so there's a lot of information we covered in this particular video. But in conclusion, I want you to walk away with this. We rewire for wealth in our finances and in our life when we recognize, reframe, and respond differently. We recognize when we observe any negative or unhealthy thoughts or feelings with curiosity, not judgment. We reframe when we find ways to perceive the situation differently so that you can transform your thinking. And we respond differently when we consciously and constantly repeat the new behaviors over and over again, thereby setting these strong new neural pathways in our brain and rewire for wealth. You see, building your financial mastery takes deep inner work so that your behaviors align with what you really want in mind, body, and spirit. And that's why I've designed my signature money mastery program. You see, traditional personal finance education tends to focus on the facts and numbers, and that's all great, but not when it ignores the inner work, the mindset, the behavior, and the transformation needed to build lasting results. You see, it's more than just creating a budget. It's creating a lifestyle to build and keep wealth. So if you're ready to invest in your financial education, this course is for you because it's going to combine getting the full picture of personal finance and helping you to create a personal financial action plan in 2 steps. The first step is money psychology, and the second step is financial literacy. These 2 steps is really what this program is all about. And this program is curated especially for those that are ready to upgrade their mindset for wealth. And you know, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not for everyone. It's an exclusive experience for those that are high achieving and committed to their transformation to get out of debt, save more, increase their income, and invest to build generational wealth. And this exceptional and unique program is really going to support you in having the peace of mind that comes when you have an action plan for financial freedom. So if you're ready to live a life of financial prosperity on your terms, click the link below in the description box to enroll. Also, check out my Goals Mastery program if you feel you need more clarity in life. And this is in all areas of life. And this course is really going to help you to get clear with what you want in life, to help you identify, define, and align with your purpose, vision, mission, and goals in life. And that's the Goals Mastery program. You know, it's always great to have inspirational and motivational reminders to keep you moving forward towards your dreams and goals. So click on the link below to choose your favorite custom designed gift for yourself, family, and friends in my online merch store. Click the link in the description box below for more information. So if you've enjoyed this video and want to improve the quality of your life, click the subscribe button below to level up. And I'll see you on the next one. Oceans of love. Till next time.